Hey, my name is David, and I've helped thousands of people all over the world safely unlock their fry and false chord screams. If you're a beginner, there's something you should know. Most people don't struggle with fry screaming because their voice is bad. They struggle because they misunderstand what fry screaming is supposed to be. And in this video, I'm going to break down the most common things beginners misunderstand about fry screaming and how fixing these misunderstandings can completely change your results. Misunderstanding number one, starting with a whisper is normal. So one of the most common things beginners get wrong is how fry screams should start. I had a student named Dave who sounded airy, whispery, and quiet for a long time. What he and most beginners were doing was starting their scream with a whisper and then trying to tighten up and add distortion on top of that. But just like a house with a weak foundation, if your scream starts with a whisper, the result will always be weak and quiet. So here's the reality. The base of the scream must be voice, not breath. And then that can be either head voice, which is you talking like a baby. Chest voice, this is my normal talking yelling range. Or max voice, which is a combination of the two. So once Dave learned how to replace a whispery bass with a voice bass, his screams instantly got louder, fuller, and more stable. And just as a heads up, how you do this kind of depends on the type of fry scream you're going for. If you want to break down in exercises, there's a free link below that will go deeper into getting you to do these different fry screams. Anyway, back to the misunderstandings. Misunderstanding number two, high screams equals fry screams. This next one is a big one, and honestly, I feel bad every time I have to point it out, because a lot of beginners think that if the scream is high, it must be a fry scream. So they'll sound like this. Ow! But just because something is high doesn't make it a fry scream. What's actually happening in that scream that I just showed you is I did a high false chord scream, and I do that by flapping what's called my vestibular folds. Ow! And what beginners don't understand is that fry screams don't come from flapping tissues, they come from tight vocal cord closure that causes the vocal cords to sputter together like this. And once you understand how the distortion should feel and where the sound should be coming from, it becomes much easier to tell whether or not you're doing a high false chord or a fry. Misunderstanding number three, vocal fry equals fry screaming. So this is probably one of the most misunderstood things about fry screaming. People are told to use vocal fry, and many beginners assume that vocal fry is fry screaming. Now, they're related, but they're not the same thing. Vocal fry happens when your vocal cords are closed, but they're acting loosely like this. Whereas fry distortion happens when the vocal cords are also closed, but with more tension and more pressure, causing them to act like this instead. If you don't understand this difference, you'll keep practicing vocal fry and wondering why it never turns into a real fry scream. You'll sound like instead of oh or ow. Misunderstanding number four, my voice just can't go higher. So after I learned my first fry scream, I thought my range was limited. I figured, hey, I've got a medium-low dude voice, so maybe I just can't scream that high. And that's a very common beginner assumption. What I didn't realize was that I was screaming in my talking register and trying to force it upwards. That's like trying to win a foot race by walking on your hands. Wrong muscles, wrong system. What I actually needed to do was learn to scream in my Mickey Mouse voice. Even just talking up here, can you hear how much higher it already is? The same thing applies to your screams. And once I corrected this misunderstanding and tried to go high by being in my head voice, my range increased dramatically. Misunderstanding number five, I can't go lower than this. So this next misunderstanding happened to Richard from the band Via Sky. He already sounded great, pro-level screams, but he felt stuck and couldn't get as low as he wanted. Now, most beginners and even advanced screamers assume that going lower is all about pushing harder, opening up, and using a bunch of different tongue and mouth shapes. But the real issue is where the distortion was placed. Richard was getting his fry scream from a higher, more nasal area. To go lower, we needed to actually shift the distortion to a lower placement, deeper in the throat. So before he was here, oh, but he had to do it from here. Oh. And once he did that, he was able to not even just go lower than his old fry screams, but even lower than his false chords. Misunderstanding 6. Pain is just a part of fry screaming. So this one's especially important. For a long time, fry screaming caused me pain. I would also sound robotic and buzzy, almost like throat singing. And it scared me. And honestly, it made me quit practicing multiple times. What I misunderstood was which tissues should be involved during a scream. So in fry screaming, you want to use specific tissues that are built for the job, but many beginners accidentally include other tissues that have more sensitive pain receptors. Those are the ones that cause itchiness, dryness, scratchy sensations. And that's what it is. Part of it is just learning to avoid using the wrong tissues and just using the right tissues that sound and feel good. Once you do that, fry screaming becomes far more sustainable and comfortable. So here's the hard truth. Most beginners don't fail because they lack effort. They fail because they're protecting misunderstandings they don't even realize they have. Now that you understand the theory, the next step is learning exercises that work for your voice. And there's no one-size-fits-all fry scream exercise, but I've put together the ones that work best for most people, and you can get them for free by clicking the link below. It'll also show you how to get in contact with me if you want more tailored help. So once again, click the link in the description and you'll get that stuff for free. See you next time.